evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the City of Southfield City Council being held on Monday, April 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Banks.
Present.
Brightwell. Cruz. Frazier. Hoskins.
Here.
Mandelbaum.
Present.
Taylor.
Here.
Madam President, will excuse Councilman Cruz and Councilman Frazier, and you do have a quorum tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we have communications. Our first speaker is Mr. Greg Keeler.
Greg Keeler, Southfield residents. I would just like to say for the vets, since Mr. Brightwell told me to go ahead and say it, that as far as the military bases, forever chemicals have been used there to spray down the foam for the airplanes. And so that's one of the things that they need to be tested for to make sure, because 6 of our bases here in Michigan have been polluted with that. And it's one of the big things that was in there. So the vets should look out for that. As far as our Administrator Zorn, looking into the wells, my question would be, if you do the PSO, the forever chemical testing on those, will you be alerting the families to the fact that they had that in their well water? And then how many parts per million can a family have? Because once it gets into your body, there's no real way for it to be out of your body. That's why it's called forever chemicals. PFAS, as you say, is just part of that family branch, but the large branch is forever chemicals. And that's one of the things that, we should just have tested, period, in our water here to see if the migration from up north has migrated this way. And I think that would be a great benchmark for Eagle and everything else to tell exactly where it has gone to and moved from, because in that whole area up by Flint, Midland and all that, where all the chemical companies are at, that's where a lot of this stuff is from. Thank you.
Thank you. Next this evening, we have Marshall Carey. I hope I said that correctly.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Marshall Carey. I live in Knob in the Woods, and I'm here in regards to our utility bill. We received a notice on the 31st, and it had to be paid by the 1st. I did leave a packet with you guys. The 1 bedroom is $600 plus, 2 bedrooms $777.70, 3 bedrooms, which I live in, is $1,085, and another lady in a 3 bedroom has to pay $1,800. We were told that the company that they retain, that they don't read meters, that we don't have meters. I took pictures of meters in our electrical room. And the other question is that we had, after we called Hank out from Channel 4, then we received a letter from them saying that we would get a 25% credit on this water, sewage, and gas bill. Now, my water, sewage, and gas ran for a whole year, $50 to $61 every month. So I don't know how they came up with this amount. But anyway, the credit, the 25% credit, the accurate percentage when you really, oh, okay, my girlfriend sent me this question. Are we paying for the last owners neglecting to pay the utility company because there was a transfer of ownership? I was told that maybe $140-something odd thousand was just paid to the city of Southfield, and that there's a remaining balance of $40,000 or so dollars remaining. So I'm wondering, we're all wondering, if that was a tax to us, the residents at Knob in the Woods, to pay this money. So we don't, oh goodness, we don't have an answer to that. Oh, Jesus. And how will our next utility bill be based? Will the credit be subtracted from the next month's bill? Are the tenants responsible for sewage? And what is the reason the sewage was increased 2 to 3 times more than the bills we received in the past? And is it legal for us to be charged without a meter reading, not even an estimate or anything? They said that the company doesn't read meters. So that just makes no sense to me, how you go from, I can go from $51 a month to $1,085 for 3 or 4 months. Another question that was also brought up is that what if I have a friend that lives there, he goes out of town a lot, and he's in the 2-bedroom, and he's out of town for a month or so. So what would happen with his water, sewage, and gas bill? How would they calculate that? So those are the questions that we have. We want to know if it's legal or not. And just to let you guys know that the present company, whoever this company is, they don't read meters. This is just, and everybody has a different amount that they have to pay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I see that there's a couple of people from Knob in the Woods. We will listen and write down all the questions, and then we will try to answer what we can
Okay.
after hearing from everybody. Normally, we don't answer the same night, but if there's a way that we can put, some kind of, I don't know, let you know that we can do whatever we can.
I understand.
Around it, support you in whatever you're trying to do. We will do that, or just say we have to look further into it. We have several different departments represented tonight, so we first want to hear what all your questions are,
Okay.
just to be fair to you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Elaine Ivory.
Thank you, Council. I am also with Knob in the Woods, and I agree with everything she said. I do want to point out one of the issues that we truly have is one, again, we don't have any meters, so we don't know what we're paying for. We were not advised until 3/31 that on 4/1 we would receive a bill that has been 3 times higher than any other gas bill we ever received. And my heart goes out to the elders. What do when they get a bill that's $1,000 more than they had before? And also, what about those that had automatic bills set up? They took that and the money for the gas that they can't prove. So we do have, I received an online notification as of 3/31, here's your bill. We're now going to base this bill based on your unit size and how many people in your unit as opposed to actual usage. None of us were told this at all. We were, as she said, we went from one building management to another building management, and it's actually been horrid. I can personally say that I've never missed a payment in 11 years. I've been sued for non-payment when I've never missed a payment in 11 years. So that's the kind of things that we're dealing with there. And again, if you can help us get to the bottom of this, we just want to know what we're being charged for. I'm looking at my bill here. It just says gas, $478, sewer, $287, water, $201, period, with weird dates from October, when I've paid every payment I've ever had before. So that's the kind of issues that we're dealing with. We don't know how they're billing us whatsoever. We all agree that we do owe something. Gas is not free. We know that. We just want to be treated fairly, and we want to see what we're being billed for. That's all I want to add. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Next, we have Nazaretha Ford.
Hello.
Hi, Ms. Ford.
I'm Nazareth Ford. I've been with Naba Woods only a year and something. The first year, they raised my rent $60. After the first year I was with Naba Woods, that really hurted my pocket. Now, they sent me a bill for $777.70 for utilities dated back to December. And then they asked us to pay it by April the 1st, which is a heartbreaking on me. I can't afford it. I'm a senior. I'm on a fixed income. My question is this legal, what they're doing to us? And if we have, like, can we put the money in an escrow account until we'll be treated fairly? Or something needs to be done, because I can't keep living like this when they're gonna keep raising everything up on me. Some people, you go in their houses and the heat is turned up so high, you can't hardly breathe. And then other people, you go in there and it's nice and cool. So why am I being billed for somebody who's enjoying heat like it's summertime, and I'm trying to reserve my heat because my money is funny? So I have a problem with that. When I first moved here, they didn't tell me I had a shared water bill. If they had told me I had a shared water bill, I would not be living at Naba Woods. Now we got a shared gas bill, which I don't think is fair. You know, I'm really disappointed. I really didn't want to move, but they pressuring me to have to look for another place to stay. They keep doing what they're doing. And they won't tell me, ask for an extra bill. And he said, you don't get an extra bill. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
No, thank you. Next, we have Crystal Forney.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Crystal Flournoy. I am also here about the Knob in the Woods utility situation. Is that better? Okay. Sorry, I'm Crystal Flournoy. I'm also here about the Knob in the Woods utility situation. I did reach out to the new management company or the new owners, Village Green. It wasn't until after the Help Me Hank went on the news, on air, that I received a call the following day. I spoke with a Karen. She said she was the director of this region as far as Village Green, and that was 2 days before they issued this most recent letter about the 25%. And what I'm realizing is that they're under the impression that we have a problem with the bill being backdated. Have no problem with paying, as the lady before me said, we have no problem paying what we owe. We received absolutely no notice that energy or anything was going up. We had no notice other than we're changing the system and who will provide you with the bills. I feel like my rent, I just re-signed my lease in March. It went active in April. My rent went up $145. So I was paying $9.75, now I'm paying $11.20. I asked them how much would my 1 month bill be, because I was only paying $87 at most. They told me anywhere between $160 and $170. If you go on apartments.com, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom is $1,300. I feel like at this point, they're doing whatever they can to us current residents to make sure they get whatever money that they feel is market value. However, I went to Bernie Middle School, directly across the street. I'm 28 now. I've had best friends that stayed in that complex. Everything is the same. So, I mean, I don't understand how any of this falls on us. Payment plan, no payment plan, it's not the payment plan that we need. It's not the percentage off that we need. If you guys can take 25% off, then you can give us the actual bill that we actually owe. So Whatever help you guys can give us, I'm
Okay,
hoping you guys can give us some. Thank you.
thank you. That concludes everyone that signed up to speak under communications this evening. City Administrator, did you want to?
My first statement is, I just became aware of this as coming into this meeting, and our Human Services Department did mention something. Knob in the Woods is a privately held property. From what was handed to me, it appears they have an entity called Real Page Utility Management out of Texas, responsible for their billing. Looks like it was for 133 days. The one bill that was handed to me is for $1,085. It's not uncommon for multifamily properties to have certain components of the utility bills, the tenant responsibility. They will contract a utility management company. I'm curious if this was the company that did it previously, and I'm trying to make some sense of some of the statements. For example, one of the statements was the typical utility bills were $60 to $70 per month. Well, I've got 5 months at $70. That should only be $350. I don't know if they maybe did a blended average of some sort. On this particular bill, just under $500 is gas, water, and sewer is the remaining $1,000 some odd dollars. That's pretty much all I can tell, council. I mean, again, we don't know how these leases read with these tenants. It is a private contract between the tenant and the property owner. If there is individuals having a hard time paying these bills, we do, through our human services, I'll make a referral to the MISTA program that council authorized our involvement in. Knob in the Hills would need to sign a contract with MISTA to accept payments, and that would be for people who are having hardship associated due to COVID. And we can refer people to the appropriate entity, but Knob in the Woods would need to agree to accept that. And I just Googled this Real Place Utility Management Company. I really don't know enough to comment, and we would need to see their lease. And again, I can't stress enough that we're not a party to that written contract.
Okay, thank you for that. This doesn't sound like there's a lot that we, the city, can do. It's a private company. Well, if you would allow us to just talk about this through administration, because we're just receiving this information either via email and packets today. Can we just take a few minutes and, not a minute, but a few days to look this over and get back? Now, do you have a spokesperson? It's easier if we could talk with one person rather than a group of people. But if so, if not, could you just leave a contact phone number and name with our clerk, and we'll see if there's something as a city we might be able to do. I don't know. It's a private company, though. That's where we're at with that. I'm sorry.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I did speak to Diane Baytek, who is the CEO for the area for Village Green Apartments. And I agree with the residents that about a delineation of what the charges stand for. I brought that up to her. She said that she was not able to do that for October, November, December, but that she could certainly do it for January, February, and March.
Okay.
She also told me that she would, they would have a payment plan for residents that are sort of overwhelmed by the size of the bills that were given. Again, I reached out to them. This is their management call, and, really the council hands are tied on this.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That was Mayor Cyber had contacted Village Green and spoken with someone. Thank you. All right, well, not very good news. Next, we have our presentations. And first, we have the swearing in of Cynthia Bernardi to the Planning Commission.
I'd like to ask Cynthia to come up. Due to a miscommunication, Ms. Bernuti did not know that she was supposed to be here last week when you voted her in as a newest planning commissioner. But, so Clerk Hawkins is here to administer the oath. But before we do that, this is Cynthia's birthday today. So I'm wondering if we could just do a little happy birthday real quick. Will you join me?
Sure.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. You're going to kill me for this. You. Happy birthday, dear Cynthia. Happy birthday to you. So this will be a birthday you remember.
Thank you, I will.
Good evening. Just raise your right hand for me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. You can just say I do when I'm done. I'll start over. It's okay. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and the Charter of the City of Southfield, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commissioner to the best of my ability. I will. Okay, just sign right here for me. Thank you. Congratulations. You're all set. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And thank you for agreeing to serve. So we have two resolutions this evening. I'm going to ask Councilman Mandelbaum to join me at the podium for one of them. The first one is the resolution in support of Earth Day on April 22nd, 2022. Southfield celebrated its first Earth Day on April 22nd, 1970. So this is 52 years of observing Earth Day in the city of Southfield. So very quickly, this is a joint resolution for mayor and council. And whereas in the decades leading up to the first Earth Day, April 22nd, 1970, Americans were consuming vast amounts of leaded gas through massive and inefficient automobiles, and whereas because there was little fear of consequences from either the law or bad press, industry along with mainstream America remained largely oblivious to environmental concerns that gave little thought to how a polluted environment threatens human habitat. Whereas in 1962, Rachel Carson's New York Times bestseller, Silent Spring, raised public awareness and concern for living organisms, the environment, and the link between pollution and public health. And whereas Earth Day 1970 achieved a rare political alignment, enlisting the support from Republicans and Democrats, rich and poor, urban dwellers and farmers and business and labor leaders to address the devastating effects of and behavior that has had on the environment. And whereas by the end of 1970, the first Earth Day led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and passage of other of their kind environmental laws, including the National Environmental Education Act, Occupational Safety and Health Act and the Clean Air Act. And whereas today, Earth Day is widely recognized as the largest secular observance in the world, marked by more than 1 billion people every year as a day of action to change human behavior and to create global, national, and local policy changes. And therefore, be it resolved that the Southfield City Council and I, Mayor Kenson Cyber, City of Southfield, do hereby proclaim April 22nd as Earth Day in the City of Southfield. And we urge our residents and businesses to observe the same. So, Madam Chair, I'm asking for a motion to approve this joint resolution.
Council?
Council President, I hereby move we approve the joint resolution for Earth Day 2022.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Banks, supported by Councilman Hoskins, for the approval of the joint resolution for Earth Day 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, and then secondly, we have a resolution that I'm going to ask Councilman Montalban to read because this is part of Blue Cross Blue Shield initiative. Child Abuse Prevention Month, I'll get it out, is April. So turn the floor over.
All right, this is a joint resolution in recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas every 10 seconds a report of child abuse is made in the United States, child abuse and neglect combined with adverse childhood experiences like exposure to violence or abuse can have tremendous lifelong effects on health, opportunity, and well-being if left untreated. In Michigan, 2/3 of adults reported at least one of these adverse experiences as a child, and whereas the COVID-19 pandemic over the past 2 years have exacerbated the stress and crisis many families face throughout Southfield and the entire state of Michigan, and whereas reports indicate child abuse increased during the times when children were isolated at home due to pandemic closures, and whereas in an effort to raise awareness about this important issue, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, together with Blue Care Network and Blue Cross Complete, are committed to bringing child abuse prevention to the forefront in 2022. This year, BCBS has partnered with the Children's Trust Fund to raise awareness and funds for their important work. And whereas the Children's Trust Fund is the only statewide organization in Michigan whose sole focus is to proactively support programs with education, funding, and resources across the state with a goal of preventing child abuse and neglect. It is celebrating its 40th year as the Michigan legislature established it in 1982 to fund critical activities of organizations on the front lines of child abuse and neglect prevention across the state. And whereas, in recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month this April, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, in partnership with the Children's Trust Fund, has enabled the City of Southfield to show our support by planting a pinwheel garden in front of City Hall at no taxpayer expense. The Pinwheels for Prevention garden kits are complimentary and include 72 blue pinwheels and an associated yard sign that outlines the program as well as other important prevention information. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the mayor and council of the City of Southfield, County of Oakland, State of Michigan, do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Southfield, and we collectively encourage all residents to help make a difference throughout 2022. The city's Pinwheel Garden is a part of Pinwheels for Prevention, the national signature campaign of Prevent Child Abuse America. Pinwheels are symbolic to the prevention effort and the hope, health, and happiness each child deserves.
And we
Thank you.
need a motion.
Council?
Council President,
Yes.
I move that council approve the resolution for Child Abuse Prevention Month, joint resolution, excuse me, for April.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Banks, supported by Councilman Hoskins, for the approval of the joint resolution for Child Abuse Prevention Month for the month of April 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Also, besides locally, you'll see pinwheels down on Civic Center Drive, outside the Blue Cross Blue Shield
Yep.
office complex.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, that brings us to our public hearing and site plan. First, I'd like to say that we'd like to send our condolences out to our city planner for the loss of his mother-in-law. So he's not with us, but we have our assistant planner, Mr. Jeff Spence, here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first two items on your agenda are actually related. You do have a special land use and a site plan, and both of these are for the fire station number 5 that's located on Lasser Road. First for you is PSLU 22-0001. Again, petitioner is Southfield Fire Department, property located 24477 Lasser Road, and we are on the west side of Lasser, just south of 10 Mile. Current zoning of the property is RE single family. The fire station itself was constructed in 1976 through an administrative review, and the special use before you this evening is to allow for a publicly owned building in buildings on publicly owned land in accordance with Article 5, Section 5.62 A22. The reason this is coming before you, and again, you can see that the fire station has been there since 1976, is basically to clean up the record. This property should have had a special land use a number of years ago and did not. We actually found out that the special land use did not exist when we were going through the site plan process. So again, this evening, the main purpose for bringing this before you is to clean up the record and get a special land use on the property. The area in red, as you can see, is the fire station itself, and along with an image from Lasser Road. As I noted, property is zoned RE single family residential with a future land use plan of medical and institutional. Part of the special land use while we're looking at the existing building is also to construct a new building on the property, in this case a fire tower training facility. Again, while you're not going to be voting on the fire tower specifically with the special land use, again, the reason behind this is to allow for a publicly owned building on public land. The fire station houses a number of features, including administrative offices, living quarters, workout facilities. Both the fire chief and the deputy chief have oversight operations from this location. There's a training division, EMS division, and then total fire administration staffing is 6 on the site. They also provide for fire suppression functions with shift command, fire suppression personnel, and this particular site does respond to all calls for service as needed. And then with that, we do know that Chief Menifee and Captain Deneau are here this evening. They can provide for some additional information at this time before we move on.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I know we've been through this a couple of times. I really don't have much more to add. I do want to commend Captain No on working hard on this project, as well as the Deputy Chief and Planning and City Administrator for allowing us to move forward and be visionaries and very proactive in our training for the fire department. So I thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is a public hearing, so I have to open up the public hearing to, did you want to add anything, Captain? Okay. This is a public hearing. I'd like to declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone here that would like to speak to the special use request that's before us, please come forward now. Okay. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Council, do we have any questions or comments for fire department? Okay. You can read your resolution,
Well,
or I mean your...
yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So there is a resolution in your packet. The Planning Department does recommend favorable consideration of PSLU 22-0001 for the reasons noted.
Council?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move that we approve PSLU 22-0001, the special use request for the City of Southfield Fire Department.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Mandelbaum, supported by Councilman Brightwell, to approve PSLU 22-0001, special use request for the City of Southfield Fire Department to allow for the publicly owned buildings and construct of a new fire tower training facility on publicly owned land, as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So party to the last item is a site plan review request, PSP 22-0002, again for the same location, and the site plan review request is for the construction of that 50-foot high fire tower training facility. Aerial photo kind of gives you an indication, the area in yellow, as to where the proposed fire tower will be. Note that there is an existing fire tower already on the site. It actually is directly to the east or to the right of that yellow circle. My understanding is that eventually that particular tower will be removed. However, at this point, it will remain on site. Already noted that the zoning of the property is single-family residential. And this is the site plan for the tower itself. You can see the area shown in yellow. It does have numerous floors on it, and this slide actually indicates each individual floor, and then there's a hatch key that kind of gives you an idea of the material for each one of those floors. It does, I believe, go from metal to, I believe, possibly wood. I can't quite read it from here. But there is a makeup of different floors, and each level, as I noted, does have various types of materials for the flooring. This is the third and fourth floors. This is an elevation of the property and the proposal. You can see the 4 floors as well as that extended tower. Again, does go up to 50 feet. And this is the elevations from each side of the proposal. They are providing or asking to install a new fence, new landscaping, as well as some bike racks, which would actually be off the front of the facility on the Lasser Road side. And with that, again, if the fire chief has any questions or comments, now is his opportunity to do that.
Okay. Hearing none, this is not a public hearing, this
It
is
is
the
not.
site
It's a
plan.
straight site plan, correct?
Okay. Council, are there any questions or comments? Councilman Brightwell?
You probably asked this before, answered this before. How many stories is this, Chief?
Technically 4.
4?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From a footage standpoint, how many feet is that?
It's 47 feet high.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm 100% for this. I just had that curiosity, that's all. Thank you.
Councilwoman Banks?
How long will this take to, before it's completed, approximately?
We're looking hopefully to break ground, correct me if I'm wrong, Captain, but we're looking at August or September that it would be constructed and put up.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. No other questions or comments? Okay. Council?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move approval of PSP 22-0002.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Mandelbaum, supported by Councilman Brightwell for the approval of PSP 22-0002, the site plan review request as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I? Chief, would you mind plugging your hockey game?
Plugging the hockey game. That is May, Captain, it's May 1st. So on May 1st, the Southfield's Bravest against Southfield's Finest will be playing a charity hockey game at our Southfield Arena here, for a good cause. I know Chief Barron and myself, we have a nice friendly bet, and the loser has to wear the other one's shirt for a whole week. But it's a good support of showing how well your public safety works together, that we like to raise money for others, not only serve the citizens, always serve and give back to the community, and we would love to see as many elected officials and residents and visitors of Southfield come out to watch the Southfield Fire Department put it on the Southfield Police Department.
All right, thank you.
What time?
What time?
We'll double check that. It's 4? It's 4 o'clock. All right. That's when it's,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're down to the agenda items for discussion and/or action. Our first is the amend resolution number 2021.170, the authorization to purchase traffic services truck at increased price.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Council President. Unfortunately, this is an agenda item that Councilman Mandelbaum predicted. It is a cost increase for a previously approved item. Our sign truck is equipped with special equipment to set and remove signs, has carrying compartments for special tools such as acetylene torches. It also has an elevated work platform that slides out to the side so we can work on signs in place. Our current truck is a 1999. The equipment that's mounted to it is failing or failed, and the body is rusting to the point where there are safety concerns. Councilperson Brightwell took the time to inspect the truck, and I think he can describe it just as well as I can. It's on its last legs. Well, on May 24th of last year, you approved a purchase replacement truck, same truck, for a total of $236,057. The next month, we did come to you with an amended price. It was an increase in one area, a decrease in another, but it was actually a decrease in cost to $235,227. The upfitter, truck and trailer specialist, said they could keep the cost the same, hold it, if there were no delays in delivery of the truck. Most of the cost of this truck is the bed and the special equipment. It's a specialized bed, specialized equipment. The cab and chassis is not the biggest part of this cost. Unfortunately, Wolverine Freightliner was delayed 4 months in delivery. As a result, trailer and truck specialists suffered price increases, and they cannot provide the truck at the same cost for their upfitting. They have upped the price by $14,500 for a new total cost of $249,727. Unfortunately, on top of our current truck being practically unserviceable, they've informed us that after the 15th of this month, there is likely to be another cost increase. So their answer to us is, and we've, at the attorney's office and other staff members have researched this, we can't purchase it at the old price. We can't force them to provide it. Their answer to us is, we suffered a price increase. If you don't want to purchase it, we understand it. But I think Council Brightwell can describe the state of the truck that we're currently using. So we are asking for a price increase of $14,500 for a new total cost of $249,727.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Brightwell.
if I may add an addendum to the presentation. I was at the Public Works Yard for another function and for another activity, and I was afforded an opportunity to look at the truck and also get an oral presentation of the use and the importance of the vehicle. And since I have put a special interest in our fleet management and our fleet companies. I did ask some questions about the mileage on the vehicle. And it was explained to me that the mileage, although it's approximately 49,000 miles, the amount of this vehicle is used and it idles a lot. You would park it and you would idle while working on the various sign positions. It has approximately, I think, John, you may, about 4 million idling miles on the vehicle. And that will indicate the use of that engine. And also the body of the vehicle itself, it's rusting. It needs to be replaced. I wouldn't feel comfortable driving that vehicle even if I was a 40-year experienced public works employee. Just saying, it's rusting in various spots that indicate a potential danger to the occupant and or driver. So, although, well, everybody on the finance chair, and I normally look at things real closely with respect to how we spend our dollars, and obviously, I would not be supportive of this particular item if it was just a frivolous spending of the additional funds that we allocated. So I'm 100% for this particular item, and this vehicle is a important vehicle for the city of Southfield and for the sign department. It's important because let's just say that when someone knocks down a stop sign, SOTP sign, stop, that's a critical item that needs to be replaced and or repaired, let's say almost instantly. Something instantly has to be done for that particular site. This is just the type vehicle that would perform that function. And in any other sign that is a critical sign for the day-to-day operation of the traffic in the city of Southfield, that's the vehicle that will be called on to handle that emergency item. So along those lines, and I guess everything I said, I would be 100% for this particular change in the purchase price of this vehicle, primarily because of the current conditions of the vehicle and also the importance of that vehicle to the city of Southfield and to the health and safety of our residents and also the health and safety of visitors to the city of Southfield.
Thank you. Councilwoman Banks.
Thank you. Council approved this May 24th of 2021, and then it was brought back June 7th of 2021. Why did this take 10 months? I mean, did we put the order in right away?
We did. It was not anticipated there would be additional delays. People are waiting for vehicles longer than normal. You're right.
So we put in a order for a vehicle at a certain price, and the vehicle is ready to be picked up, and they're telling us there's going to be a $14,000 increase?
The vehicle is ready. The upfitter, which again is most of the cost of the vehicle, has said we could have held the price, but this delay has made it impossible for us to hold the price now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from council? Okay. Council, are we prepared to vote on this?
Madam Chair, you want to, I move that we approve the amended resolution number 2021-170, which is the authorization of purchase traffic service truck at increased price.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Brightwell, supported by Councilman Mandelbaum, for the approval of the authorization to purchase the traffic services truck at the increased price. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Our next is the presentation and discussion regarding the site plan review request of Sky Construction.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I believe that this item was actually brought before council last week. The petitioner unfortunately was unable to attend, but he is here this evening. So what staff would like to do, again, would be to go over the request and then have the petitioner then come in, explain, again, his reasonings for the request and answer any questions that the council may have. So again, this is PSP 22-0001 with the petitioner Sky Construction, property located 29444 Northwestern Highway. This request is for the construction of a new stairway on the north side of the building to the proposed rooftop deck. The reason that this is coming before council is because the stairway is actually within the 15-foot setback for building on the rear portion of the site, and I'll show you that in a moment. This is an aerial photo of the site. You can see how close the building is to the northern portion of the property and the property line. This is an image of the building from Northwestern Highway. The petitioner, at least the owner, has gone through a lot of updating to the property, the building, as well as new landscaping, some additional items as well to bring this property up from what it originally was. So there's been a lot of improvement on this site already. Property zone B3 general business with future land use of regional mixed use. This is a site plan for the property. North is actually to your left. The one item in red there, the larger box on the right-hand side of the image, is part of this approved site, or the site plan, which includes a pedestrian connection from Northwestern Highway to the building itself. The area in red on the left portion of the slide is actually the location for the proposed stairway that would lead up to a proposed rooftop deck. It's a little closer view of the stairway location, as well as a closer look of the image of the stair from above, and then the elevation as well. Again, as I had noted, this is coming before you because that stairway that you can see in red encroaches within the setback, the building setback for OS office service. This is the back of the building. There's actually currently a barrier-free ramp that runs down behind the building to the lower level. And this area currently shown is the approximate location for the proposed stairway. With that, as I noted, Mr. Jonah is available this evening to further explain the reasons behind this proposal for council.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, yeah, that's, Mr. Spence explained it pretty well.
Before you start, could you tell us your name and address for the record, please?
Sorry. Jeffrey Jonah, 29444 Northwestern Highway. Mr. Spence explained it pretty well. We are proposing a structural metal staircase in the rear of the property that falls in a setback, and which will lead to a rooftop patio. The purpose of the patio is for the staff members that work at the location, for pretty much to create a positive environment, more energetic, stress relief work environment, positive environment for stress reduction, relaxing at work, lunch breaks, increased productivity. And there's several more items on my list. I'm not going to go down them all, but that's what we're pretty much looking for to accomplish with the staff there. And I know there was some ADA concerns. I did speak with Mark Pilot, a building official from the building department, and him and I discussed that we would discuss the ADA issues prior to a ZBA approval, to address those issues a little bit more along with the architect as well.
Thank
If you
you.
have any questions,
Okay, I'll ask council, but thank you.
thank you.
Councilman Mandelbaum?
Thank you. There was a question that we asked the planner was going to look into it in regards to ADA accessibility going to the roof.
Yeah, if I may, through the chair, to Councilman Mandelbaum, Mr. Jonah was explaining that he did have a conversation with Mark Pilot, who's the building official, with regard to that particular item. Mr. Pilot felt comfortable with this item moving forward, subject to Mr. Jonah continuing to discuss accessibility. There is something within the building code that is under debate right now with regard to the actual size of the patio up on the roof and whether or not it even requires ADA accessibility. It just needs further study. But he was comfortable moving forward, subject to Mr. Jonah continuing the discussions on ADA.
Okay. And I can't tell from the drawings, is there a second stairwell or is it just that one?
Just the one.
I'm not the expert, but would the fire marshal have an issue with that?
He did not have comments with regard to this particular location.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilwoman Banks?
Mr. Jonah, do you have any thoughts on where some type of ADA accessibility could be placed for someone to get to the rooftop?
At this time, I don't. I know that we had communicated with the designer to share some input. We talked about possibly an elevator, but it was very complicated situation to put one inside the building, given the newly renovated construction that took place last year inside there.
Could a ramp be placed instead of stairs?
Be a hell of a ramp.
No, not with that type of building code ramp, that would be pretty long.
Thank you. So, well, to the planner, if we approve this, it will be contingent upon the ADA accommodations?
Yeah, that's correct. In my conversations with City Planner Crode, there would be a condition placed on the site plan approval. And again, this is just for discussion tonight. This will come back before you on the 25th. There would be a condition placed that the petitioner would continue to work with the building department to address ADA issues. Now, there isn't, if I may, through the chair, there is an existing stair tower already, isn't there? If I may, I'm looking at the left-hand side of this image, and it looks like there's an existing stair tower on the building already.
Yeah.
Okay, if I may, one of the questions that was asked was, is this the only stairway? And you had said yes.
Oh, yes.
So I just wanted clarification. There is an existing stairway that does go up to the roof already. It's that small square that is on the left-hand side of the image. So there would be two means of access. There would be the exterior stairway, the brand new. There is also an existing stair tower already, so there would be two means of access to the roof.
I think you had a picture of the stairway. I'm not sure. Council, Mayor Siler?
I had just a quick question. What is the capacity that you're expecting on the roof?
Very minor, just probably like 7 to 12 people.
Okay. And is it
It's
the
more of a
entire-
private access.
Okay, is it the entire roof or just a portion of the roof?
Just over 700 square feet, if I recall correctly.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Do you currently have any handicapped or
Yes.
employees that currently in your building now?
Yes.
And they would have, what you would like to do is help them to have access to the roof when you make that available? Is that what you're asking? Or is that one part of what you're asking? To include them in this roof patio?
For the roof patio, you're referring. So I believe we're going to have further discussions with Mark to try to solve how we are going to do the ADA access to the roof.
Okay.
So I don't have the, if that's what you're asking
Yes.
specifically, yes. I don't have the specific answer today,
Okay.
but I know that we're going to be having some ongoing conversations in regards to that.
Okay.
Okay, if I may, through the chair, as Mr. Pilot had noted, there's the building code is not clear as to whether he even needs ADA accessibility. And that's the reason why additional comments and additional study is needed by the building department as well as the architect to come to an understanding of exactly what the building code requires.
How many handicap employees do you currently have?
Currently, there's 0
There's 0?
that I'm aware of, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had some. Okay.
If I may, through the chair, I think the question is how many employees currently work within the building? Employees overall?
Oh. 40 to 50. And it's not all the time. Sometimes they're working from home as well.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, and so again, if council is satisfied with moving it forward, it will come back to you on the 25th.
Yeah, I think the general consensus is we're okay with that. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item for discussion is the one of the Southfield City Center Special Assessment District Renewal.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So this is the proposed renewal of the Southfield City Center Special Assessment District. The last time that there was a renewal was 5 years ago. So they are looking for another 5-year extension of the current assessment of 5 cents per square foot. This is the existing city center map as approved by council back in 2017. Was expanded a little bit to include additional properties. The City Center Advisory Board, just from the standpoint of process, met on February 8th and did have a motion in approval to request council to authorize a continuation of the Special Assessment District as it stands today. Before you this evening is this presentation and then a request that City Council approve the standard Special Assessment Resolutions 1 and 2, as well as schedule a public hearing of necessity for May 9th, 2022. There are also another couple of steps that would occur after this evening, including the May 9th that I just discussed, June 13th, and then July 1st through June 30th, 2027 would be when the new assessment would become effective.
Okay. Council?
City Center, area, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the City Center area was originally established in 1992 as a principal shopping district with an assessment of 1 cent per square foot. Today, there's over 10 million square feet of non-residential use in a 1.76 acre area. One of the reasons for the assessment is to address various issues within the district itself. One of those having be pedestrian gaps or sidewalk gaps within the area itself. The area in red basically indicated back in 2010 where we were actually missing sidewalks in the city center district. The area along Evergreen Road was also disconnected from the standpoint of sidewalks. So again, if you recall, a few years back, when the Evergreen Road improvements happened in 2016, they actually provided for these new sidewalk connections within the district itself. The city center actually provided a $100,000 match through that assessment to help with the road improvements. Front lawn loop in 2015, the loop along the front yard of City Hall here was also constructed, also provided by some funding from the city center. Also included from 2014 to 16 were complimentary streetscape, which included benches, trash receptacles, various pots for plants and flowers, as well as flags and other amenities within the area. Since being constructed, there's been a lot of peer recognition with regard to the city center area, especially the Evergreen Corridor, from the Michigan ASLA, from the Southfield Chamber, an award from Michigan Concrete Association, and the Keep Michigan Beautiful Incorporated. Just recently, as 2021, there was recognition both at the National Planning Conference and the Michigan annual or Michigan Planners Conference as well with regard to what's been happening within this particular district. M-Sites, which is a publication by the American Society for Landscape Architects, is also recognized improvements within the city center area, as well as a new pathway along Lawrence Tech. CCAB funded improvements include those areas back in 2020 shown in green. Those are the sidewalk connections that were discussed. Red Pole Park, again, this particular area was previously a goat path. People did walk along this particular section. Red Pole Park actually provided an opportunity not only for an art installation, but also a 10-foot wide asphalt path through that particular area. Wayfinding, we do have wayfinding throughout the entire district with a master plan with signage. These are the various signs that are located throughout the particular district, provide guidance. And Red Pole Park has been used often as a walking place for not only our residents, but also for various events. Along Northwestern Highway and LTU, there is a brand new pathway that was installed. However, in 2010, that did not exist. And this is the pathway now that runs along Northwestern Highway. It actually provides connection also from our parking lot to the football stadium, which is on the corner of Evergreen and Northwestern Highway. Also other amenities related to bicycle and public transit. There's also a lot of art that's located within this particular district and along Evergreen Road. Other amenities like birdhouses, bat houses, all kind of add to the placemaking within this area. Exterior dog treat stations are something that's going to be coming to the city center area. There's 3 locations for these particular dog treat stations. Interpretive panels that not only talk about the history of the area, but also talk about birdhouses and watershed and Red Pole Park in itself. Art installations are numerous within this particular corridor. This particular one is over by Clarions, which is on the corner of Northwestern Highway and Civic Center Drive. And we do have a trail map and a brochure that does provide information on all the various art installations and other items throughout this particular district. Economic development with the banquet facility for Noah's, Clarions I had talked about, as well as the 2 new hotels that are going in along Northwestern Highway. Installations in 2021 include Endeavor, Striving, the L2U barrier wall murals. And then last fall, and with the hope to complete this spring, the Tapestry of Community by Dr. Hubert Massey. These are other installations that have actually been in for a couple of years now. And this area just gives us opportunity to celebrate success. City Center Trail ribbon cutting. And then the area also hosts Eat to the Beat concerts, as well as the Kimmy Horn Jazz Festival. Transit improvements, talked about earlier with regard to benches and trash receptacles. We actually have a map for a walking tour, which is 3.15 miles. It was established in October of 2021. And there's a potential for some night installations within some of the existing as well as proposed art. In the bike share program, we currently have 9 various stations with over 30 bikes. So with that, the planning department is requesting an approval of resolutions 1 and 2 and to set a public hearing for May 9th, 2022 for the 5-cent, basically keeping 5 cent for the current SAD. For the new SAD, that would be from, let me find the date here, from July 1st of 2022 through June 30th of 2027.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Planner Crode asked me to add a few other comments as the mayor sits on the City Center Advisory Board. This body has had a major change over the years. They used to meet a couple times a year, and basically they put on 12 Eat to the Beat concerts. And today, the City Center Advisory Board has major players in the City Center area as part on the board. Redico, Morelli, Durr, Lawrence Tech, and several other major land or companies that are in the district are on the board. And as Planner Spence has outlined, they meet every month. As a matter of fact, we're meeting tomorrow morning. And they're very, very pleased and supportive of continuing the 5 cents because it's just really enriched our city center. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, this is our discussion. Do we have any questions? Councilman Brightwell.
Jeff, obviously, this program does a lot of good there. I see that this program is expected to bring in approximately $520,000. On a running basis, do you guys produce financial statements internally that you can share with council and or the finance committee so we understand what kind of running balance you have?
Yeah, if I may, through the chair to Councilman Brightwell, I can check on that for you to see if we can make that available.
I can speak to that. We have a budget that the City Center Advisory Board approves. They approve all of the projects, and they vote on how the money is spent. Some of the money is held over from year to year.
Right.
Because, for instance, the trail installation, so much would be set aside in 1 year, and then another year to make the project go. So knowing that there is money there that is not always spent in a year because it is being set aside for a larger project within the district. But yes, these are these records would be available.
Okay, yeah, well, if you can either share 'em, well, I won't necessarily need something every month, but the annual report that you had, I just want to know what, because you would have a carryover, that's a natural, if you don't spend everything, it just rolls over. But I want to see what we have currently, and seeing that you bring in $520,000 approximately per year, and I see that you do good work with this particular organization, so just want to get an idea of how the money is there, what, maybe, obviously, once a year at a minimum, to the finance committee or to the whole council, whatever we need, so we just get an idea of what's there.
Well, that certainly can be done, and obviously, all of the improvements are very evident of how the money has been spent. But we can make that happen.
Okay.
Please
All right,
present
thank
it
you,
to the entire council. We can look at it. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Council, are we prepared to
Yes,
vote on the
I'm
approval
sorry.
of the?
Yeah, if I may through the chair, so the resolutions are within your packets. Again, you would be looking to approve resolutions 1 and 2, and then set a public hearing for May 9th, 2022.
Thank you.
Madam
Council?
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that council approve standard special assessment resolutions number 1 and 2 and schedule a public hearing of necessity for May 9th, 2022.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Banks, supported by Councilman Brightwell, to approve the standard special assessment resolutions 1 and 2 for the City Center Advisory Board, and to schedule the public hearing for May 9th of 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Our next item is to approve and adopt the fiscal year 2022-23 through 27-28 capital improvement program.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So I believe that this item has been before council last Monday as well. You can see by the schedule that both the Planning Commission, Council Finance Committee have reviewed this particular document, Planning Commission 3 times. And before you this evening, we are recommending or asking for the council to adopt the CIP Capital Improvement Program for fiscal year 22-23 through 27-28. I can go through a presentation if you'd like, or if you're satisfied with last week's presentation, then we can move right on to whatever questions or a vote.
I think the presentation is still fresh in our minds, so thank you.
Okay.
Council, any questions? Okay, seeing none, a motion, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move move and approve and adopt the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2022-23 through fiscal year 27-28.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Mandelbaum, supported by Councilman Brightwell, to approve and adopt the capital improvement program for fiscal year 22-23 through 27-28. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We're now at the council portion for this evening. Council, and we'll start with you, Councilwoman Banks.
I would just like to wish everyone who does celebrate Easter a very happy Easter this coming weekend. Enjoy the time with your family. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilman Brightwell?
Yes, I want to just announce for veterans on April 26th at the Macomb Community College, there will be approximately 100 firms seeking to employ individuals, and those individuals being veterans. The firms represented would be Ascension Hospital, Gardner White. These are just a couple examples. LaFontaine Automotive, and the U.S. Secret Service. There will be 100 firms there. And the program will be running from 4 to 7 p.m. That's a Tuesday on April 26th. So there's no registration required, pre-registration, but obviously come prepared with your resume. And also, I just want to remind veterans, I've done this particular item. I want to let the veterans know that they are eligible to get their student loan. If you're a veteran and you have a student loan, you can apply through the VA, and you can probably get some of your student loan, all of it or some of it voided. So to start with, please contact if you're associated with the VA, contact your VA representative, and they can get the ball rolling, because you had to fill out some forms through the Department of Education. And if you need additional info, please contact me here at City Hall. I think it's 248-796-5150, and I can give you more detailed information. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilman Hoskins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this morning, myself and Councilman Brightwell and Councilwoman Banks and the mayor, we had the opportunity to go to a ribbon cutting for Devo's Daiquiris. It's a great business. They have been wildly successful. They were letting us know that they had a whole marketing plan ready to go, but they don't even need it, because just from word of mouth, they've had so many people coming in. Like the stuff that they were doing, it's been great. It's good to see when we approve things here on council, approve these businesses, that they are doing so well. It's nice to be able to approve, in particular, a minority-owned business. So if you all get a chance, please go out and support them. I think they're going to be doing a lot of great things for hopefully years to come here in Southfield. But beyond that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Mandelbaum?
Thank you. As Councilwoman Banks mentioned, to all those who are celebrating, Happy Easter, and also Happy Passover. And I know that it's just the beginning of spring, but the city is already looking for nominations for their Community Pride Awards. So just, I'm not going to give dates because it is kind of far out, but just, keep an eye on your neighbors or things in the neighborhood. And it's also never too early to start working on your yard as well. Also, the city of Southfield is looking for entries for the 6th annual photo prize. They have to be photos within the city of Southfield within the past year that have not been photoshopped, and they have to be submitted by Friday, May 20th at the Community Relations Department. So you can submit up to 3 photos, any photo that you think would be photo prize worthy. Even if you just took one of your kids at the park, if you think it's a great picture that represents Southfield, feel free to submit it. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no additional comments tonight. Mayor Seibert?
2 very quick things. When I meant to mention when we passed the resolution for Earth Day that we are celebrating Arbor Day at the end of this month. That's the 29th, Friday the 29th at 11 a.m. out front. We'll be planting a tree. Also later this spring, we will be planting 100 trees in the city as part of our Earth Day initiative. And finally, I do just want to give a brief report that our Juneteenth Planning Committee did meet last week. And we are planning an 8-day celebration, June 15th to 22nd. And the details are still being worked out, but we have partnerships with AKA Sorority, with the Library, Parks and Rec, the Historical Society, and others. So we're planning a very robust celebration. Thank you.
Thank you. Administration?
I have no comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Attorney?
Yes, good evening. I have no further comments this evening either. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Since we're in the spirit of celebrating birthdays, our council president birthday is this Friday. So, Good Friday, it's her birthday. So
Thank you.
happy early birthday as we celebrate Good Friday and go into the Easter holiday weekend. That's all.
Thank you.
Should we sing?
Happy birthday.
No. Our treasurer's not here. Mr. Planner?
Yeah, nothing more this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, our city assessor left. He was here. Nothing for engineering. We have nothing to schedule, nothing closed session. If there's no other business for this council this evening, I now declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Good night.